podcast. Welcome back. Wednesday, December 8th. A little later than we said we were going to be on, but it's fine. We're out here and we are ready to get mad as the Bears are just an absolute dumpster fire. And there's almost next to nothing to get excited about with this game that's coming up on Sunday night because for some reason NBC wants to put flaming hot garbage on primetime, and Carrie Underwood will be incorrect when she says we've been waiting all day for Sunday night, because I most certainly will not be. I will be dreading Sunday night because it's going to be awful and terrible, and the only allure is going to be Justin Fields. But is there any allure really, Kevin, when it's Justin Fields with cracked ribs and he's probably not, and he's not going to be playing at 100%.
Oh,
so you're probably not even going to see him at his best anyway.
No,
stop it. And then you go out there and it's the biggest spread of the week. And
is it actually?
Yes, the Packers are favored by 13.5.
I guess that's not surprising.
And Aaron Rodgers is going to come out there in Lambeau, ready to own you again, and it's going to be awful. And it's going to be the worst, and it's going to suck. And it's just going to be another notch on what has been a disappointing, wildly disappointing season, as you lost to the Cardinals 33-22 in a game that you had multiple opportunities to win, and then you piss it away, just like you did against the Ravens, just like you did against the Steelers, just like you did multiple times against the Packers the first time, really. Games that you've all had the opportunity to win, and you didn't, and now here you are, and it sucks. And we're already on to 2022. I am, at least. Just give me 2022 with Justin Fields and a new coach and hopefully a new GM, and let's get this party started. Let's wipe our hands of the last 3 years and get going, because I'm over it.
Look, I've been challenged now because every time I come on this show, I have to deal with the pessimism of Jake Hassan, and it's my goal.
It's not even pessimism, it's realism.
Okay, fine, realism. Throughout the hour length of this show, I have to try to make Jake feel somewhat better about the upcoming game. And I'm going to do that right now. And shout out my girlfriend right there saying, it's
wait. Hold on.
Take away with your optimism, Kev.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what?
See?
No, not that.
Yeah, my girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Where's Katie?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But
see,
all
Katie
right, Kevin Lapka moving on up in the world.
Hey, what can I say? See, the listeners got to know a little bit about us. You know what I mean? They got to know a little bit. They got to get a little bit of a sense of who we are.
First
here.
comment in the chat. All right, Kev, go ahead with your optimism. Make us feel
Let's
better.
Go. Yeah. Like she said, go ahead with optimism. This is what I do, man. You know who I am, bro. You know what this is. And look, this week, Jake, if you want to look at it the positive way, you have 6 games left this year. 5. I counted quickly. 5?
Yes. I don't know. This season has lasted about 1 million years.
7? 6? 5. 5. You have 5 games. If you're 4-8, you win 5 in a row. You run the tip.
So what do we think drops the listener rate more? Me not knowing the date,
okay,
or us both not knowing how many games are left in the season?
Okay. Well, here's the problem, Jake. Because in the beginning, when you forget the date, it's an immediate dropout. Like we've at least hooked them because we did our little spiel. But nonetheless, out of the 5 games remaining, is this not the most interesting game of the remaining 5? Like, it comes at an inopportune time because you just lost a game that you possibly could have won against the Cardinals. You kind of, you should have. Wow, if you want to say should have won, that's optimism right there, and I'm all aboard on that.
I mean, spot the lie in that statement. I mean, because how many of their points came off turnovers?
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right. But yes, Chicago for real says we're in because of Justin Fields alone. But this is the game that out of the remaining 5, okay, you play the Vikings twice. The Vikings just lost to the Lions. You've beaten them. You were 6-1 with Mitch Trubisky against them. That's not really a game you look forward to. You play the Seahawks, who are 4-8. You play the Giants, who are 4-8. All of those other games don't matter. This is the game where the Packers all year, all offseason said what, Jake? They said, last dance, Aaron Rodgers, Devonta Adams, we're going to run it back one last time and go for the Super Bowl run. So it's about a 99% chance, Jake. This is the last time the Bears will ever see Aaron Rodgers in a Packers uniform. And that alone deserves a celebration, does it not? That alone is something to celebrate. But
I'll believe it when I see it.
But what I said was the first time they played, I alluded to the fact that there was a passing of the torch, right? And I guess I was stupid for doing that. I thought they could have won that game. And a lot of things I say are stupid. But this is the ultimate passing of the torch because regardless of whether they win or lose, this is the last time that Rodgers is going to play in the NFC North unless he decides to go to the Vikings like Brett Favre.
Again, I'm not going to pin my hopes to that. I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, but nonetheless, based off of everything we know, we can reasonably assume that this is the passing of the torch game. And Jake, like, Justin Fields, again, he shows up in these moments. He did it on Monday night, right, against Pittsburgh. I mean, that's the only prime time game
he still lost.
And a game where he had the best game of his career so far. You know, he showed out. He got you the play that you needed at the end of the game, scored the touchdown, the defense let you down. Maybe that doesn't happen on Sunday night. It probably does, but I think he rises to the occasion in these moments. And you are going to say, well, what about the ribs, the cracked ribs? He's in pain. Let's not rush him back, all this. He said in his press conference today that his injury, this cracked ribs injury that has now put him out for like what has been about like 25 days. It's been a long time when you consider, missing Thanksgiving and that whole time period. It's been a long time when you really kind of think about it. He said his injury playing at Ohio State against Clemson was way worse. And he continued to play in that game and ended up throwing like 3 touchdowns in the second half with the rib injury.
And played the national championship.
And he said after the national championship game, could not do anything for 4 to 5 weeks. This guy can handle pain. He can tolerate pain. If I had to guess, Jake, if the Bears were in a position where Sunday was a must-win game and you had a chance to make the playoffs, he would have played. I would almost guarantee that. But given the circumstances, given how much the coaching staff likes Andy Dalton, they didn't feel to rush him back. He's healthy. He's medically cleared. And that's what you're watching for, Jake. I mean, like, it's exciting because of that. Is it not? That's the storyline. And you can't not get somewhat excited for that storyline.
I agree. Like, I'm excited that Justin Fields is back. I think you're a better team with Justin Fields, obviously. I'm not even worried, like, because I saw the same quote. I saw the same, everything that you just mentioned about how he said he played through a worse injury in college and championship games, yada, yada, yada. What I'm worried about is more like the disruption because he had strung together good games and now he just missed 2 games, but like you said, like 20 days or something like that. And now I'm worried about that kind of hiccup. And we're like, now you kind of have to start over almost, like you kind of got to get back to the practices and like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not putting
Justin.
I'm not putting a ton of stock into that. Like, but I do think you will see an effect of that at least to start. Where like you kind of got to shake off the rust and get back into that because you missed so much time. Like it's going to take at least a little bit of time, first game action, to get back into that rhythm. Do I think he could still have a good game? Absolutely. But I mean, it's just hard to care. Like it's
hard. It's very hard.
I mean, you talked about this the other day. Like, and ESPN 1000 put out a poll. They put out a poll. How do you feel about the Bears right now? Or how did you feel watching the game? Sad, angry, apathetic, and overwhelmingly, me and you talked about this,
70%
by a landslide, it was apathetic, and I was part of that. It was hard to care.
Right, it was
like you watched that game. And Andy Dalton's first pick happens and Arizona scores. Then the second pick happens. They score. They're up 14-0 really early. And I was just sitting there and I was like, I feel nothing. I feel nothing about this because it's so hard to care because at this rate, I firmly believe, and I know people are hoping that, all right, I think we all expect the Bears to lose this game and we all expect it to be very ugly. But we're in the same spot that we were last year. With a Sunday night game against Green Bay, with the quarterback coming back, because that was Mitch's first game back from injury too, and you had the guy who you're hoping can come back and give you the spark, and obviously it's a different situation, obviously, but similar situation, and you're going to go and you're going to get embarrassed probably, and then we're going to be sitting here after, and we're going to be just calling. Remember, Kevin, after that game, and granted, it wasn't as bad. You were in a much better position last year after that loss, but me and Chris Nano sat here and said, tank, let it all rip. Nothing matters anymore.
I remember that episode.
And you sat there and you said, no, playoffs. You have a chance to make the playoffs.
And what did we do, Jake? What did we do? What did we do?
What did it matter? You ended up with the same result. You made the playoffs, and now Matt Nagy can maybe hang his hat on that in his meetings with the McCaskies. People are going to say, "Oh, well, you get blown out, Nagy's fired, right?" I don't think he gets fired after. I still believe that as long as the McCaskies owe you money, they're going to squeeze every last drop of work out of you until they don't owe you money anymore. It is not conducive to having a successful football program. And that's why coaches get fired in the middle of the year. But are the Bears a successful football program? No, they've shown that over. And that's what happens when you have an accountant as your president of football operations, because they care about the money guy. So after the season, I fully believe Matt Nagy's gone. Especially this ugly game, which we are expecting, is going to happen. And then I mean, the Vikings are going to have a playoff spot to play for. They're going to get up for those games. I still think you win at least one of those because you make the Vikings your daddy regularly over the past couple of years. But or no, you're the Vikings daddy. I said that wrong. But anyway, regardless, you get what I'm saying.
No, yeah, you make the Vikings.
No.
You're
their
daddy. Other way around.
You make them your son and you cradle them in your arms and then you put them to bed and swaddle them and walk away as they cry. But anyway, point being that the Vikings will actually have something to play for. I think you win one of the regardless, things are not going to go well. You're going to lose most of you maybe beat the Seahawks. You probably beat the Giants because those teams are just so down, so tremendously bad. It's insane, worse than you are because those teams also have so much worse talent. And we always talk about, the Bears on paper are better than most teams, but this and the Bears just somehow have played better than the Giants, especially. I think the Seahawks are tanking at this point too. They're trying
they just beat the 49ers.
Yeah, but I mean, they're 4-7. They're in the same spot you are. They're trying to they have their own first round draft pick to play for.
Right.
So
that's true.
Unlike the Bears. So
they're also going to trade Russell Wilson, so they're in a whole different mindset.
So they're going towards.
And that's
rebuild.
the difference,
but
Jake.
anyway,
that's the difference.
But my point being, the more you lose, and that's my point that I start with. Accelerate me to Black Monday when Matt Nagy's gone, and hopefully Ryan. What do you mean?
Just win again. If they beat Green Bay, it doesn't matter. He's gone. He's gone regardless. I don't know why. So then why do you have the outlook? At this point, what you're doing, you're rooting for a loss, and partially I can't blame you, and that's fine.
I'm not rooting for a loss. I don't care either way.
Okay,
I don't care either way.
No, but see,
I'm
here's
going
the
to
problem.
watch. I'm going to watch the game. And I'm going to watch and hope that Justin plays well. And I'm going to hope that Larry Borum plays well.
Exactly.
I hope that Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet play well. But I'm not going to care about the result. I'm going to sit there fully expecting a 37-44-10 game or something, I'm going to expect an absolute massacre, bloodbath, rip the Bears apart and leave their heads in center field. It's that's what I'm expecting. I just want to see the young guys who are going to be here next year play well. And then I'll move on with my night and probably turn it off in the third quarter, and that'll be that. I don't care about the results anymore because you're not making the playoffs. You have nothing to play for. So show me the development of the young guys, and then show me Matt Nagy, live stream Matt Nagy leaving the building for the final time, and hopefully Ryan Pace too. But
in the hunt,
you're not in the hunt.
I'm just kidding.
Stop it.
Stop it. I mean, so the reason why that poll about apathy, anger, sadness is skewed is because you were apathetic given the circumstances, given who was playing quarterback. You lose, the apathy goes away once there's something at stake. And what's at stake is Justin Fields and how he plays. And because whether the season matters to you or not, as far as playoffs and whether you're in or not, these games matter as far as his development. And these games matter as far as you have, this is a guy who the moment he came in here was talking about his teammate. He's yeah, he plays for the wrong team. His teammate Josh Myers, who's center of the Packers. He's talking about a few weeks ago was sooner rather than later, this rivalry is going to turn to our side. You are not going to, I'm telling you right now, you may think it, you will not feel apathetic about this game at all. It's like any rivalry in sports, right? These are the games that you actually care about. People show up to these games, whether you're 0-11 or 11-0, because the rivalry means something. And it means even more when you are starting to integrate your rookie quarterback into that rivalry. And if he can come out here, and I'm not saying win the game, but throw for 300 yards, maybe rush for 50, score 2 touchdowns, and really show he is putting up a fight against this team, and it's a wake-up call for Packers fans and for the Packers organization that, look, Justin Fields is going to dominate you for the next 10 years. That's what you're watching for. And that's why, Jake, I don't care if it's a result like we see in Pittsburgh where Justin Fields goes down the field, fine 2 minutes, he scores with 1:30 left, you're up 3 or you're up 2, and everyone in the world, all 20 million viewers who are watching the game know exactly what's going to happen. You gave Aaron Rodgers too much time. He's going on the field to get a field goal. You're going to lose. I don't care, because at the end of the day, Justin Fields is what matters. How he handles this rivalry is what matters. His development is what matters. And that alone, that aspect alone, is going to give you reason to have emotion throughout the game. Plus, again, you can feel whatever you want about this team, but you're lying if you say you don't hate the Green Bay Packers. You're lying if you don't say you love the rivalry and you hate anything that has to do with Green Bay, right? You still buy into that regardless, do you not? I mean, and that's why when the organization and George McCaskey and all those guys say, well, we evaluate coaches based off of how they do against Green Bay. I mean, that's straight from George McCaskey's mouth. Apparently, that's not true because I don't think Matt Nagy's won one time against them. So if that was really accurate, he would have fired him last year.
I think they won one game in 2018.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They won once. I say they won one time. They won once, 1-6. Exactly. No, one time. So that's why a win this week isn't going to do anything. But this rivalry means something. I'm telling you right now. You may not be waiting for Sunday night. Like Carrie Underwood might be wrong. You may not be waiting for Sunday night. But the moment you sit on the couch, like you're going to be somewhat bought in, given the rivalry, given the circumstances. And if Andy Dalton was the starter, my whole line of thinking would be different. But he's not. And there's something to watch for. There's something at stake for the Chicago Bears on Sunday, and it has nothing to do with their record.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like apathetic towards the result.
Sure.
But we're talking in circles here, basically. Like we're watching for the players, for the guys, like I said, the guys that are going to be there next.
So who else are you watching? Because there's a lot of.
So Justin Fields, obviously,
right?
Darnell Mooney, David Montgomery. If he plays, he didn't practice. He didn't practice today. They listed him with 3 different injuries.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
I don't know.
My God.
But if he plays, David Montgomery, Larry Borum,
and before you go down the line, Tevin Jenkins.
That's what I was going to say next.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Well, let's talk about that real quick. What
can I finish my damn list?
Well, before you finish, let's talk about Tevin Jenkins before you finish the list because I don't want to miss this point, and I want to know your thoughts about because I don't think you weren't here on the last show because you were gone because that last show was the first time Tevin Jenkins was activated, and we didn't have the conversation yet about what your opinion is on him currently being a depth guy versus him getting reps. I want to know your take on that.
I'm fine with that because that's that's the James Daniels route. James Daniels was hurt his rookie year. He came in later in the year and was kind of a rotational guy and just kind of got the reps and kind of got slowly integrated in. And I think he ended up starting like the last 2 or 3 games or something like that. So I'm fine with that. I mean, bring him along slowly. I mean, I get because you're in a different spot. I mean, like, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to either. Like, I'm fine. I get the rationale, but behind bringing him along slowly and kind of because also who are you going to replace him with? I mean, Jason Peters has been your best lineman. He's not going to play guard or center, and Borum's been playing great too. So there's no reason to. So I'm fine with him being a rotational guy. I mean, that's fine. That's where he fits best right now. I mean, you can't slot him in anywhere else legitimately.
So then the question, like when you see them do the heavy sets, right?
I would like to see him out there.
Okay, exactly. Yeah. So like, because they did that the first play of the game against Arizona, and I see them bring in a couple extra linemen. I'm like, oh shit, here we go, Tevin Jenkins, and it's Alex Bars, and I'm like, all right, like if you he needs to get reps at some point.
Agreed.
And if you lose this game against Green Bay and you're mathematically eliminated and you can really start to, screw around with things and everybody in the building knows that, then yeah, you can do that. But like to me, this isn't a polarizing topic. Like there's people who are very angry about this on the internet.
There are. People are way too invested in the Tevin Jenkins situation.
You have to really again, if Charles Leno is there, sure, you can be upset about that. But Jason Peters has been your best lineman, like you said. Like you can't there's really no
which is a wild
legitimate argument.
Because 4 weeks in, we thought
he was the weak link, and that guy's honestly give him credit. That guy is unbelievable for his age, just to be doing what he's doing and really walking into this team like a few weeks before the season.
I mean, you have to consider giving him another contract if he wants it.
Shit, dude, I don't know. I mean,
you have to.
Andrew Whitworth is like 42, and he plays he's been one of the Rams' best players. I mean. I guess they're just defying the odds. I mean, shit, Tom Brady's what, 44, 43? It is different when you're a quarterback versus an offensive line.
Back to the Tevin Jenkins thing, though. Like, I'm fine with him getting reps. Like, unless you think that Jason Peters is like, he's out the door, you're not giving him another contract, then I would advocate for more of a rotation between him and Borum and Jenkins. But I don't think for the amount of money you're paying him, I don't think you're going to take him off the field unless he's hurt. So as long as Jake, so like he's my 5th guy, Jenkins, as long as I see him on the field at some point and getting some reps, I'll be happy. I get the rationale of bringing him along slowly. Behind after that, Cole Kmet, obviously my guy.
Oh, your guy, Cole Kmet.
I mean, did he have a bad game against Arizona? Yeah, but I mean, like that was a bad.
It was
game
one drop.
overall.
It was one drop. I won't put too much weight on that.
In those conditions too, like that. Like I'll live with that because he had been having the best stretch of his career before that.
Agree.
So him.
Oh.
He wasn't
Chicago.
awful.
He wasn't
but
awful.
But even if he was awful, okay, let's say he was awful. Like if you want to say that, fine. Again, he's
got a target on his back though. He's going to get this type of criticism.
That people,
it's going to happen.
People love to criticize him for Pace's mistake. But also, again, he was having the best stretch of his career. He literally, for 4 weeks, had showed you what he could be. Like that's in a shitty game in bear weather. Like I'm fine with that. Like it's gonna happen. Like he's not gonna play exceptional for
Justin
the whole.
Hates him.
Like guys are gonna have bad games. Like it's fine, and we know tight ends take longer to develop in this league. We know that. We've seen it time and time again.
He's Kyle Rudolph. He's not going to be anything special. Just accept it.
He's not going to be George Kittle. He's not going to be like. I think he could be Kyle Rudolph was pretty good at his prime. Yeah, I'll take that. If he's Kyle Rudolph, I will take that. That's fine. And remember the quarterbacks that Kyle Rudolph played with: Christian Ponder and Joe Webster, and
Sam Bradford.
Bradford was okay, and like when he was in for like one season.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
But regardless, like my point being, like Kmet is going to be a contributor on this team next year. He's going to be there. Is that really it on offense?
No, you're missing one guy, and this is recent. You're missing one guy that's recent. Just got activated. He's a friend of the program. Was on the show. Daz Newsome. I mean, he's getting activated to the 53-man roster. Why would you not give him reps? I mean, Rodney Adams. Look, I'm all for Rodney Adams getting reps. He deserved to get a rep based off the preseason that he had. He got his opportunity. He dropped it. He dropped a wide open pass again. The conditions, you can make what you want.
That's a tough in your first start.
Right. I feel bad for him because he's a good guy too. He's a good, and I really want him to get a chance because he showed out in preseason. And like, what if you're a guy like that? What are you supposed to do, man? You give it your all. You bust your ass. You show out in the games, and you still don't get an opportunity. So I do feel bad for the guy. But this is Daz Newsome's chance. You know, he is the 6th rounder that you drafted, friend of the program. Let's see Daz Newsome because Jake, like, let's be selfish here. It gives us a little bit of credit if Daz Newsome gets some catches. Like, come on,
look good
brother.
For us.
It look great for us. Because then people are gonna start looking back. We'll be able to pull out old quotes. Yeah, Daz said this, and now he's showing out. It's a gold mine of content for us and engagement. So for our sake,
selfishly,
selfishly,
I think he'll get another shot. Hopefully,
yeah.
But anyway, him and I would put Khalil Herbert in there too. So what are we at? 8 guys on offense?
That's a lot of freaking players.
That's on offense only.
Exactly.
Then you go to defense. You got Jalen Johnson, Roquan Smith, Gibson.
Gibson might be out. I think he was on the injury report.
But I think he's shown enough. Okay. Oh, we were doing guys that you want to watch this week. Right. So then Roquan Smith, Jalen Johnson. Are we
Thomas Graham again? Like this is another guy. Thomas Graham was updated. No, I'm not. I'm not Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson's been limiting the bigger plays these past few weeks.
I'm damn close.
No, stop it. I'm not gonna eliminate Eddie Jackson.
I'll say because of his contract, he will probably be on the team next year too.
What do you mean he will? Yes, of course he'll be. What are they gonna do? Cut him? You're not gonna cut him. It's not even. You don't even save cap for doing that. I mean, like you owe him
Nichols
a
is a
shit ton of
free
money.
agent, I believe, but I would like to see him back.
Eddie Goldman. Did you already mention?
No, I didn't, but I think he's a free agent as well. And we'll see. But anyway, so you got a solid like 10, 11, depending on who you care about more, who you don't care about.
A lot of guys, man.
It's a decent amount of guys, but I mean, like, I get it, and I will watch, and I'm gonna watch this game, but like, it's gonna be so hard, like, to sit there. And Kairos Tonga, that's a good one, actually.
Timothy Wire in the chat. What up, babe?
That was a good pick. But it's gonna be hard to sit there and like be the Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and just and like sit there like, oh, there he is. Okay, there's my guy. Like it's easy to do with Justin Fields, obviously, but like you can't be sitting there and be like, there's Daz Newsome. Like, you know, I mean, shit. Like, Kairos Tonga's on the field. All right, like I'm tuned in. I'm locked in.
Let's go. You know, unless you got the over on Kairos Tonga tackles or whatever it is, probably 0.5 or something.
But I mean, like. It's so that's going to be kind of hard. I mean, that takes a lot of emotional investment, and you know, not everyone's like you and me, where we have a show where we talk about this stuff, and like, so it's point. You try to look at it from the casual fans, like, but more like overall, like we understand that most people, and ourselves included, are going to be watching for Justin Fields, and that's fine. Unfortunately, who knows how much he'll be on the field? You know, depending on Packers' game plan or. How much, you know, like if the Packers run the ball down your throat. Yeah. Like if the Packers
they're going to pull Patriots on you.
Exactly. Oh, that was wild. But anyway.
Well, here, what's the, you got to look at the weather then in that case. If you get a snowy day in Lambeau, anything's possible.
And like decent. I think it's supposed to be decent weather, like not too bad.
Oh,
but anyway.
30's decent for Lambeau. It is.
Right. it's not going to be snowing, I don't think.
Yeah.
So we'll take that. No. So I mean, I'll be watching for Justin Fields. Hopefully he plays well. I have every belief that he will play well, but it's like the fact that there
Wait. This guy says you can't let this game turn into Rodgers versus Fields.
Why not?
Why not? That's what we want this game to turn into. He's saying it's 34 and windy. Yeah, I don't like the weather condition. If the weather conditions turn into that, then sure. But honestly, why? Like to be honest, maybe this guy is right because as far as we know, the Bears have the advantage in the running game. I mean, they've been the 6th best rushing team in the NFL this year.
Sure.
If Dave Montgomery's out, that changes. But
Khalil Herbert still played well.
And maybe if that would give them a reason to do designed runs with Justin Fields.
But also,
yes,
Justin Fields has a rifle attached to his shoulder. He can throw it through a little bit of wind. I promise you, he's not Mac Jones, who's a dink and dunk quarterback. Like Justin Fields can throw it through some wind. He'll be fine. Like he'll be okay. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to. I get what you're saying, and I mean, come Sunday, I'll probably be like, okay, I'm excited to see what Justin Fields can do. But if Justin Fields, if the first, when they do that first cut from Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth to the field,
yeah,
if they do that and it's the Bears huddle and Justin Fields is in the middle of the huddle, giving the pump up speech, then I'll be more invested.
You're all in. You're locked in.
I wouldn't be all in, but I would be significantly more in.
Okay.
I would go from probably like a 15% to like.
Okay, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. And this is the difference between the Bears and honestly a team like the Lions. The Lions come out and bust their ass every week, and it's evident, right? Like it's evident that this team actually is fighting. I feel like recently, like you have individual players, and I think part of the reason why this doesn't feel like it's been the case recently is because Akeem Hicks is out, and he is one of your vocal, outgoing, outspoken, I'm going to kick the shit out of you type guys. But other than that, like, you don't have a lot of guys, or maybe it's not about individual guys. It's just about as a collective. It just doesn't feel like they're out there fucking fighting, man. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the record, we're going to go out there and we're going to punch you in the mouth as many times as we can.
David Montgomery basically said it after the Cardinals game.
David Montgomery said that, but show me, right? Show me. Like, he said, like, you don't see those things on the field. My point being that, like, David Montgomery's like, yeah, I'm out here trying to fire these guys up. Like, okay.
He's clearly a guy that's running hard and playing hard.
Yes,
and obviously,
it's evident, right?
He's a running back. He's going to try and earn he's got next year's his 5th year, right? I don't know. We always do this with David Montgomery. We don't know.
Next year's his 4th year. He's in his 3rd year.
Yeah. He's trying to earn that contract, and maybe earn an extension, who knows? But like he's out there saying, "Oh, I'm trying to fire the guys up. I'm trying to get them up for these games." Like
exactly. Well, that's the reason
Montgomery admitted that people are out. Exactly. They're checked out.
And then you want to go back to the common denominator. Who does that fall on every single week? Yes, that falls on the coach. The coach doesn't get you ready to play. Yes, we know this. But still, like that makes and the reason why I bring it up because of what you said is because that sometimes gets you more invested in these games because you at least know your team's going to, put up a fight, especially against the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, because Jake, if anything, they have the ultimate reason to fight because of what the hell this motherfucker said to you last time you played, right? I mean, this dude just, right? And it's not just it's everybody. I mean, he said it directly to the fans. He said, I own you. Everyone should be emotionally invested. Go out there and beat the crap out of the Green Bay Packers, right? I mean, that quote was because again, he's not wrong. He is in no capacity wrong, but it is a shitty thing to hear when you saw like the amount of people, Jake, that texted me after that was like, Rodgers owns you. I go into work every day. Hey, how does it feel to have Aaron Rodgers own you? All this. I heard it
turned on any radio station in Chicago.
Yeah,
you heard it.
That's what you heard.
Everyone was saying, yeah, he's right. Can't be mad. He's right.
And this is what pisses me off. All right. I'm going to go on a rant here. So the reporter goes on to the press conference and says, look, have you guys been aware of what Aaron Rodgers said last time? This is to Nagy. Are you guys aware of that? You guys been talking about that? And he goes, yeah, we're aware of it. No, go up there and say that quote is on every single wall in Hallis Hall. It is on the helmet of the opposing team that you're going up against in the practice squad. It is plastered everywhere. It's on the TV screens. I don't know if the TV screens are still off because Mitch wanted them turned off a few years ago. I don't know if they're still off. But if they're on, plaster it on there. Put it all over. Put a banner on it the moment you enter Hallis Hall because that should be what is firing you up for this game. Like, Matt Nagy doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't even have to give a passionate speech. Justin Fields doesn't even have to, hold a huddle. You should be electrified to go kick the crap out of this dude because of what he said to you last game. But the problem is, like, Matt Nagy's never going to go on the podium and say that. And that's why I'm angry, Like, show me some emotion. Show me, like, he shows on the sidelines that he acts like he cares, right? Because and maybe he does. I'm not gonna, argue that he does or doesn't care. But he gets in his little stance, right? He does this, and he's like, he's looking around. He acts like he cares. He gets in his 3-point stance. But and like, you can make what you want out of press conferences and about those clippings. But you look at some of the other coaches in the league, and Bill Belichick isn't one of them because he just doesn't talk to the media. But other guys are like, hell yeah, we're aware of that. Hell yeah, that's all over the walls. And we're not going to let him forget about him saying that. You know what I mean? So don't you want him to see them just like come out? And that's why, first drive, like, it has to start from the start. First drive, if you win the toss, defer, get Rodgers out there, have Robert Quinn go sack his ass a few times. Blitz, all out blitz. Send him. Send the dogs.
Send the house.
Send the house. Let Jalen Johnson go one-on-one with Devontae Adams. I don't care.
God.
Send the house. I mean, what do you mean, oh, God? That's a matchup that he can handle. Jalen Johnson's a good player. Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league, but he can handle him to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, I don't
well,
know
if you blitz, hopefully Rodgers gets a little bit of pressure, doesn't give it the best ball to Devontae. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud here. But don't you want to see that? Like, from the start, like, have a little bit of fire. Show that you care. Show that statement that bothered you.
You are one Shea McClellan incident away from some guy from the practice squad being out there for the Green Bay Packers.
I saw that, yeah.
This guy, I'm pretty sure this guy was a Madden creative player. I don't even know his name off the top of my head because Jordan Love's in COVID.
Kirk Benkert. He's like a Twitch streamer. He does like video game. Because him and Tariq Cohen would play Fortnite
away
all the
from
time.
going up against a Twitch streamer. Like, and not to clown him obviously, but like, you're a Shea McClellan incident, and I mean, obviously you can't bank on that. Like, you could go out there and hope it happens. But
Shea McClellan.
I mean, it's
Corey Wooten. No, Corey Wooten ended Brett Favre's career, right? In Minnesota.
No, it was Shea McClellan.
Well, I know, but I'm thinking of another time that it was. Remember, Corey Wooten did it to Brett Favre, I think.
Yeah.
And just ended his career. That was funny, but yeah, geez, that would be funny. So we have a few comments we got to address.
Well, there's one. Okay, so real quick, because there is one of the comments is a good segue into something. I mean, Cole Kmet needs to step up. We just talked about this. Like, Bryce, once this is over, rewind about.
I think Bryce was Bryce was second too late.
Yeah, like we talked about this. Cole Kmet literally just had the best stretch of his career. He's gonna be on the team. He's gonna be a contributor.
Look, Bryce,
and that's fine.
Bryce, Jake's a Cole Kmet truther. All right, so
I was right.
He's a truther.
I was right.
I'm just kidding. I don't like that word because people would use that word to me about Trubisky, and it's just a rude thing. So you were right. You were right.
Anyway, okay. So something from Lenny Lebowski, he commented Akeem Hicks coming back, and that actually leads nicely into our segment of who would you rather keep? Because me and Kevin were talking about this earlier, and I honestly the one that I texted you I think is really good. So I mean, who you keeping for next year? Who would you rather have for next year? Akeem Hicks or Allen Robinson?
Mortal lock Allen Robinson. That's not even a
really.
To me. I like Akeem
really?
Hicks.
I'm completely on the other side of this. Oh my
God, what is wrong with this guy? I can't believe this is my co-host. This is unbelievable. No, so I'll tell you why. And this is something that a lot of Bears fans are going to have to kind of start to come to a realization with, or come to terms with rather this offseason, is you're going to have to start to break away those relationships that you had with the 2018 guys. Like, this team is going to be serious roster turnover. And both these guys are from 2018. Yeah. But Hicks was a guy that like you loved, man. Like, he still does. He still brings, the electricity to this team. But again, and I've said this early on, Jake, right? Like, I don't think he's that same dominant force that draws attention that he used to be. And he's always getting injured. He's older. I think he is kind of on the decline in his career, and he can still be effective. I don't know how much you save by cutting him, but to me, if you want to talk about a longer view of this team and who could potentially be here for longer, like, you're of course going to take Allen Robinson to pair him with Justin Fields for a longer period of time than you are going to, have Akeem Hicks for maybe one more year to kind of just be a a placement guy for the defense because he's not that same force. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your take though? Why do? Because if it's that decisive for you got to have a legitimate reason, like a very strong reason.
Because now that I think about it for more than 3 seconds,
oh yeah, okay.
I actually do.
Just admit I persuaded you. Can you just admit it one time? I persuaded you.
And also, like, I came to the realization because my argument was going to be that Akeem Hicks is like the heart and soul of this defense, but it's not true anymore. Like Roquan Smith has taken up that mantle, and there's always going to be a need for a top 20 receiver in the league. It just kind of depends on if you can mend those relationships with Allen Robinson, which hopefully a new GM and new coach can do. But I guess I get where you're coming from. I guess it's just, in my initial reaction was the drop off from Allen Robinson to Darnell Mooney I believe is going to be less steep. Year 3 of Darnell Mooney, I believe he'll take another step forward. Obviously, I believe that that drop off will be less steep than Akeem Hicks to fill in the blank. Like, you know what I mean?
Goldman? I mean, Nichols?
He hasn't played, neither of them have played well this year, though, you know? Like, that was gonna be my initial argument.
That's fair.
There's
validity to that, but
your spin of, okay, you want more playmakers than not around Justin Fields. Also, like, you know, that is a great point. So let's put it this way then.
Tonga.
He's a nose tackle. Akeem Hicks, again, that's a 7th round pick. Like, also, significant. Like, I like Kyrus Tonga. I think he's a guy that'll be on the team next year. Hopefully,
we got to get Tonga on the podcast, please.
Okay, so then let's do it this way. And I have a feeling this one is also pretty decisive. But would you rather have Akeem Hicks or Khalil Mack?
No, what the hell? I'm get the hell out of here.
Okay,
how do I leave this show?
Robert
studio?
Quinn or Khalil Mack? Robert Quinn or Khalil Mack?
Khalil Mack. Just stop asking. Come on, what do you mean, Robert?
Is there
about?
any situation where you pick someone over Khalil Mack other than Justin Fields?
Nope.
Really?
Nope. Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith. That's
Jalen Johnson?
Nope.
Really? Okay.
Dude, what are you talking about? Khalil Mack.
You'd rather have you have one corner right now. You're
playing hypotheticals though. If you're choosing one of them to be gone in the offseason, which is obviously not going to happen, but they would fill the void. Like, they would fill the void, and like, what are they just going to leave Kendall Vilder out there to dry?
Okay, that's what I mean. So, like, the drop off from Jalen Johnson to
but Jake, they're going to
Kendall Vilder is way less. Is way steeper than the drop off from Khalil Mack to Robert Quinn.
Yeah, but no, you can't think about it that way. You can't.
Why
think
not?
About it that way because
it's a hypothetical game. It's my show. Okay. I can think about it however I want.
No. Like, I don't like people's opinion on Khalil Mack has been skewed because of his injuries. He is still one of the most dominant players in the NFL. He draws attraction. And now this is not to discredit Robert Quinn, because quite frankly, Robert Quinn, I think, is 0.5 sacks away from beating Khalil Mack's sack numbers in 2018, which was his best year as a because the reason why and this is what's crazy, because I don't know, do you know any people who play in a fantasy football league with defensive players?
I did once and I hated it.
So just today, December 8th, this is now like 4 days after the game, Robert Quinn was credited with that sack against Kyler, where Kyler
corrections.
So like imagine like you just need a Robert Quinn sack to win your fantasy football matchup, and it was just too late. But yeah, he's got 12 now, and he's still. And what we talked about this last time, it's Dick Butkus with 17.5.
No, I think it's not Butkus. It's someone else, isn't it?
No, it's Butkus. It's got to be Butkus with 17.5.
I don't think it's
Butkus. It's Butkus. I think it's Butkus with 17.5, and he has 2. He's got that twice, I think, or not. Butkus, Dent. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Dent. I was like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I was I'm almost positive.
No, it's not possible for Butkus to be getting that many sacks. Sorry, Dent. And I think Dent has 17.5, and he's got like once, or he's got 17 and 17.5. He's got 17.5 twice. So there's still a legitimate chance he could break that if he has a couple of good games. Yeah, Timothy.
Richard Dent.
Sorry.
Yep, 17.5.
Bryce in the chat says Vilder has given up 554 1 yards, 541,
you doofus.
541. I'm losing it. This is what this team has done to me. 5 touchdowns, 138.1 passer rating. Ryan Pace late round steal. Ice emoji. Ice emoji. Look, Ryan Pace overall has been a phenomenal late round drafter. Kindleville, there was one major miss that he had, but let's not start to draw narratives that Ryan Pace is not a good late round drafter. Anyway,
I wouldn't call 4th and 5th round late round. I'd call that mid.
What are you talking about?
Call that mid round.
No, 4, 5, 6, 7 is like you can consider late round. Like mid to late, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Whatever you want to call it. We're not going to get into that conversation because that's a different
semantics. Whatever.
Yeah. I guess we gotta talk about this game and predictions. Whether you want to do it or not.
13.5
let's here before we do that, let's do bold predictions. Let's just think of some bold predictions because I don't even have to do a score prediction. Like I don't even want to do that.
Finishes the game. I mean, we're nothing.
Justin Fields. That's your only bold prediction. Justin Fields finishes
the game. Yeah.
Here, you know what this is? Sam Mustipher needs to step up, says Bryce. Yeah.
Are we gonna do that? No.
Here we
go. We're not doing this with Mustipher again. We're not.
He can't.
Did you say it was Bryce again? All right, Bryce. Rewind about 6 weeks. We did this whole song and dance with Sam Mustipher again.
Bryce might be a new subscriber. He doesn't even know who we are.
That's
he's
true.
like, who the hell are these schmucks? And they're out here shitting on me in the chat.
Bryce, I'm going to give you the cliff notes of how we did this. 2 months ago or so. I'm not going to sit here and blame an undrafted center for the complications that the Bears are facing. Like, if we're going to sit here in week 13 or whatever the hell it is, 14, and say Sam Mustipher is the problem, it's like, Bryce, I love you. Dude. We're happy you're here. But if you believe that Sam Mustipher is the problem, buddy, I got a bridge to sell you because
I don't think he thinks Mustipher is the problem. I think
say that Sam Mustipher needs to step up, like that's like so far down the list of concerns.
That is true. That is true. Like we're splitting hairs now.
He's serviceable. That's fine with
He's serviceable.
He's serviceable.
Yeah,
he's an undrafted guy that you brought off the practice squad last year.
Yeah,
he's been
for what he's worth.
He's
like
been
the value.
He's been serviceable, like on average, like per game, per capita, he's about average. I would say. At times he's really, really solid. At other times he's pretty bad, penalties, and he hasn't been great. But for what he is, fine. I'm fine with it. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know what, over the last 5 weeks, I really need to see some improvement from Sam Mustipher. There's a good chance he's not even on the team next year. There is so far down the list. We didn't even mention him as we mentioned 2 offensive linemen as guys to watch in the game this week. I'm fine. Yes, you're Bryce. Absolutely right. Jason Peters is more valuable than Sam Mustipher. I absolutely agree. I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Peters was on the team next year and Sam Mustipher wasn't. That would not shock me. I'm not here to pick apart an undrafted guy who literally just got his first start last year.
Let me explain, though, why you're right.
Me or Bryce?
Once. You. For once. I can't believe I'm doing this. He's right. I can't believe it. You have to evaluate rosters in any sport based off of value. Yeah. And if you start to evaluate based off of value versus just pure talent, and you take away the other factors and the other things we know, you start to feel a heck of a lot better about your roster. And quite frankly, like GMs do this too. Like you don't have to pay a whole lot of money, and you evaluate this. You're thinking, holy crap, the production you're getting from a guy like Mustipher for the money you're spending for him, that's value.
He has far and away expectations.
Exactly. And you have to evaluate things based on value. And this goes both ways. Like you have to evaluate Eddie Jackson based on value. He's not performing at the value that you're paying him for. Neither quite frankly, neither has Khalil Mack as of recent. Injuries, neither has, a lot of guys you can go down the list, right? But you have to evaluate that both ways. An undrafted center who is undrafted for a reason and was slotted in literally because the whole offensive line is having injured.
He made his first start in what? You had to, late in the season, pretty week 12 or something.
For 11, value, he has been good. He's been phenomenal from a value.
Absolutely.
This guy says I'd rather have Tonga playing center.
I think that was a joke.
Okay. I think I love. You know what? I love Tonga. You know what? And you talk about value. The fact Tonga's even getting legitimate snaps. Like I thought, when we did our post and that game, our post draft analysis show, I was like, yeah, Tonga, cool, we'll see him in 3 years.
Yeah,
like 3 years from now,
round picks have you seen cut by the Bears over the last however many years. Like it's yeah, exactly. Outperforms, and we're literally looking for. That's how down bad we are. Like searching for these little silver linings, but like. Yeah, I mean,
this is what we do. We have to, Jake.
Okay,
what other choice do we have?
Bryce, I promise next week we'll go through the whole offensive line with you, and we'll break it down because we are running out of time here. James Daniels, same thing. I'm fine with. You haven't paid him yet. You're probably not gonna have. He's gonna be pretty cheap. Like anyway,
yeah.
The Bears offensive line is fine. Like that's
fine.
That's so far down the list of concerns for me right now. Like you have a bunch of young guys that have potential. I'm fine with that. Let's move on to corner and linebacker and your other safety opposite Eddie Jackson. let's focus on some other things where you have like actual NFL caliber guys that you need to slot in. All right, let's talk about. We have to do predictions. We do it every week. It's a cop out. It looks lame if we don't do it. Okay.
Give me the Bears. Let's go.
Stop. Are you actually into that?
Just kidding.
Okay. So Sunday night, obviously in Lambeau.
How I want because we both can pick the Bears to lose. I just want to hear you what do you think is going to happen throughout the course of the game? What are we going to see? What kind of game is it going to be? You know what I mean? Because it's just too boring if we both were Bears.
In order to throw you a bone, I'm going to say that there is a way that this game is competitive. Like if Justin Fields comes out and he's right back in the saddle, he's playing like he did against Pittsburgh, and that gives the defense a spark, okay, yeah, you can make it a competitive game. Maybe Rodgers' toe and the cold, it starts acting. I don't know, whatever. But more likely than not, I just see this being a game that's like the Arizona game. It's frustrating and it's close in the first half, and then you just make mistakes that kill you. How many times have we seen over forever that Rodgers just that one back-breaking player, he just capitalizes on that one or two mistakes that make you just fall back in your chair and groan. It's Timothy Wire or whatever makes a really good point. We just skipped over bold predictions.
Yeah, we're running out of time. Are we? I don't even know.
I think we got a couple more minutes. We can do bold predictions.
All right, sorry. Well, so typically, Timothy, we have a show that comes after us at 10 because we're on the Chicago For Real network, and there's other people that do the show. See, Jake, the people they want the bold predictions. They
want the bold predictions.
They need it. All right,
you go first.
I go first. Okay, I honestly. I think Daz Newsome catches 3 passes. I think if he gets an opportunity, and given he has to get the opportunity.
People are going to say that's a lame, bold prediction. No, but I actually think that is bold. I mean, because look at how much we've seen Jakeem Grant and we've seen Damiere Byrd and Marquise.
Exactly. And Justin Fields spreads the ball, I think, a little bit more than Andy Dalton does. He threw to Jesse James. Jake, and now you want to talk about preseason reps.
Tunnel vision for Darnell Mooney sometimes.
Yeah, that's fine. But
which is fine. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not target your best receiver at the moment without Allen. That's fine. But they had a connection in camp because he was working with Daz Newsome more than he was working with Allen Robinson, right? So it's again if he comes onto the field, it's okay, I'm more comfortable to throw to Daz Newsome. So maybe he's going to do that. That's kind of a fraudulent bold prediction. Just because,
I like it. I think
it's just because it's tentative because you don't know if he plays. It's about whether he plays.
Sure, hinging on if he plays.
But that's that. What do you got? That was my one. I got one more.
I think Jakeem Grant gets a return touchdown.
Whoa!
He's looked pretty solid. You could see he's getting a little more comfortable. So I think Jakeem Grant returns one. I'm not going to say the opening kick,
a punter kick.
Let's say because actually I'm not sure if the Packers are going to punt at all. So let's say kick just for the sake, because I think there'll be more kicks than punts. But anyway, I'll go Jakeem Grant returns one for a touchdown. All right.
I think the Bears get an interception. That's what I was going to say. I'm not going to.
It's sad that's a bold prediction now.
Yeah. Well, against
Rodgers,
Aaron Rodgers. One thing I was going to say to you before my predictions. If the Packers would just retire somebody's jersey at halftime or put somebody in the Ring of Honor, we would win, right? Remember what happened was it Thanksgiving that they did that with Rodgers or with Favre? And they put him in the ring. I think it was
it might have been both of them actually.
Yeah, I think it was both of them. But I just remember one of them. They were both there.
I think it was both.
Yeah, it was Thanksgiving, and it was supposed to be their day. And the Bears, it was just like this, Jake. The Bears are supposed to get blown out. It's the Packers retiring Favre's number. This is where Rodgers goes crazy. let's get somebody back to Lambeau on Sunday night to retire the number, and the Bears will win. That's all I got. Okay. But your official prediction.
All right, official game prediction. This line opened at 13.5. It's down to 12.5 with the Justin Fields announcement. So some money coming in on the Bears. I mean, I still think this is going to be a bloodbath. I think this is going to be real ugly. I think that I'm going to say Bears lose this game. I'm trying to do like multiplication of 7 in my head real quick.
Like,
I would say
130,
41 to 13 Bears lose this game. I think it's going to be ugly, man. I think because we made the point of like, you should plaster that Rodgers quote everywhere. He's going to want to stick it to you again.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing because he's at his home stadium.
He's a very weird dude. Like,
he is a weird guy. That guy is freaking weird. Man.
He's a weird guy.
I think we need to really have an episode talking about how weird Aaron Rodgers is. Like that guy is he's a character. That's why I put my foot on the screen because that's what he did that at the press conference. He put his toe on the camera. I was like, why? I don't want to see that.
It was very
I don't need to see that. I think the Bears lose this game. Obviously, like I'm in no position to pick them to win, but I do think they keep it. I think they keep it close, like they have pretty much all year. Like you have a chance to maybe win. It's just something doesn't go your way. I don't think it's going to be a just interception. I think you're just going to stall out on third down a few times, and Rodgers is going to take over in the fourth. I think you're down about 4 points going into the fourth quarter, and you end up losing by 11. So I'll go like 31-20. It's like 24-20. You got a chance to go down. And it's typical Rodgers breaks you back, but I'm not gonna eliminate the possibility that, like I said from the start, like I'm not in no world am I gonna say this is like pick this to happen and lock it in. And I just like Shane says, imagine Justin wins the game on primetime. Like I think there's a legitimate chance. It's one of those scenarios where everything and all the money is on the Packers, all the momentum is on the Packers. The Bears have that one variable come in. Maybe they're willing to fight for Justin more. They're willing to fight for Andy. And because it's on prime time, because it's that passing of the torch game, it does like the stars do kind of align in that sense. Like they do. Like you can't deny that they do kind of align that they could. All right. That they could. And Bryce is right. You have to consider the things we've considered all year. Now you could still hold them back. Yeah. But there still is that sort of optimism that on prime time, passing of the torch, it's Justin Fields' moment. He's really, really good in these types of moments. Maybe this is where he makes the statement that, look, I'm here to arrive. Packers fans get used to me. This is my division for the next 10 years. I'm not going to say I'm still picking the Bears to lose. I'm saying there is a slim chance that could happen. And
I mean, Bears could lose and Justin could still play well.
Right. But it would be like, again, like when you talk about the stars aligning, like it would really be kind of that, it would just be, it would be special. It would be special. And we would be freaking jacked up coming on here on Monday.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't think that will happen. To answer Bryce's question real quick, yeah, we'll talk about coaching candidates when I actually see it with my own eyes that Nagy's not allowed in the building anymore, unfortunately, because who knows with this team. But yeah, I mean, we'll address it at some point.
Hey, Chat was popping today. Shout out.
Chat was popping today. I mean, people have frustrations. They like to air their grievances as we are. That's what we're here for. But this has been Bears Nation Podcast. We will be back on Monday following the Sunday night game to break it all down and talk about it. And hopefully the stars do align and we get a miracle, but probably not. So until then, this has been Bears Nation Podcast. Shout out to the chat. We love you, Bryce. Welcome. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until then, bear down still.
Bear down.
Bye.